Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time, welcome. I am so glad that you're here. Today's topic is going to be on millennial mortgage. Of all generations surveyed, millennials dramatically by far have the highest percentage of regret when purchasing a home. But depending upon where you're getting your information, I've seen anywhere from like 43 to 60% or 44 to 63%, somewhere in there. And that is mind-blowing. Don't be a statistic. Stay tuned to the end for all the scoop. We have all been there. We've made purchases we regret. Let's say you bought a pair of shoes. You hated it. You couldn't bring it back. You lost that money, but you're probably talking less than $100. Talking house, you might be talking at least $100,000. Stay tuned to the end. I found a channel that I've been enjoying, and it is Graham Stephen. One of the videos I really liked that he did was 63% of millennials regret buying a home. That is a staggering statistic. It's a terrible, terrible number. I really liked his approach to this video and how he broke it down, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. How do you prevent having such a huge regret and being in that 44 to 63%? Well, you learn, and applied knowledge is huge power. You learn by watching videos like this and educating yourself, because what is important in life is you have to take responsibility. And you're going to see as we go through some of these topics and some of these percentages that I agree with Graham. There's a lot of blame being placed here that really, that kind of comes back on you. So don't be that person. Make sure that you're learning, make sure that you're growing, and make sure that you're making right decisions and taking responsibility. So let's dive right in. That's enough of my little lecture for today. Let's talk about what we're going to cover. 18% of the 63% said that the maintenance and repairs was way more than they expected it to be, and that caught them off guard, and that's one of the reasons why they regret purchasing a home. 12% of the 63% said they bought too small of a house. 8% said they bought in a bad location. 7% said they just didn't think that homeownership was a good investment, period. Another 7% said that the mortgage was actually too high for them. The payment was too much, more than they anticipated. 6% felt like they did not get the best interest rate. And 5% actually said they bought too big of a house. With each of these topics I'm giving you, we're going to break them down into further detail and figure out how you can avoid being in these percentages. Quick side note for you, if you're enjoying the video, if you're enjoying the channel, I'm going to be launching a course very soon. I cannot wait. It's 17 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and more than that, a lot of passion, and I cannot wait to share that with you. So keep an eye out for that. All right, so the first thing is 18% of millennials said that the maintenance and repairs was more than they expected, and that caused them to regret a home purchase. How can we avoid this? Well, good news for you, I have several ideas and suggestions. The first one, when you get a mortgage, you have to have an appraisal almost always, okay? But you don't have to have a home inspection. Now, I always suggest every borrower get a home inspection. You would not buy a car without looking at it. I hope you wouldn't even buy a car without having your mechanic look at it. I don't think a lot of people do that, but more of you actually should. When it comes to the house, you don't know what you're looking at, what you're looking for. You're not an electrician, you're not a plumber, right? I really strongly advise that buyers get a home inspection. That can help you find things that might be going out soon, things that might be an issue today and need to be remedied. It's going to give you a really idea of any potential hidden defects. I mean, these inspectors, they cover everything. Like, they literally go to like each light switch and go, does this work? Yeah. Does that work? Yeah. Does the hot water work? Does the cold water work? Is the hot on the left? Is the cold on the right? Like, they are really, really thorough. And great news for you, it's not that expensive. I mean, from what they cover, I might think that it might be $1,000 expense. It's going to be different in different areas, but honestly, everybody, it's probably in the $300 to $500 range, which is nothing. You probably spend that on eating out per month, right? So that's one main way that you cannot be in this 18% statistic, is by getting yourself a home inspection. It is absolutely 100% worth the money. The next thing you can keep in mind, and I don't know a lot about, but there's also home warranties. to where you can get a home warranty. I want to say it's between $400 and $600. Again, very nominal in the scheme of things. And that warranty is that, let's say your dishwasher goes out. You don't call a repair person. You call the home warranty. You have a deductible, maybe it's $50. They come out. If they can't fix it, they replace it. Instead of you spending, I don't know what a dishwasher costs, maybe that's $1,000. Well, you're going to pay $50 in that example, all depending on your home warranty. So that's the other way, the second way that you can absolutely protect yourself and not be in that 18% number. My third and final suggestion, plan for the unexpected. I recently Googled, and I feel like the number was low, but it said that the average person spends about $1,700 a year on home repair. I think you should probably plan for more like $3,000 a year. So if you plan for $3,000 a year, put that out into a monthly amount, budget that on top of your mortgage payment. You will not be in this statistic because you will be prepared for the unexpected maintenance and repairs that might show up. Okay, the next number we're looking at is 12%. 12% said that they bought too small of a house. So 12% of millennials who purchased a home said they regret it because they bought a house that was too small. When you're buying a house, especially your first one, it is so exciting and it's easy to get that, like, I don't know what word to use, that like sparkle of excitement, right? Like, let's just do it. It looks great. I love it. But calm down a little bit, right? Let's make some really good decisions. Let's take some responsibility here and don't think about it too short of a span of time. What do I mean by that? Most people seem to live in their home for 5 to 7 years. Those are the stats that I've seen over the years. And so don't think about it as you. If it's just you by yourself buying your first home, don't just think, oh, I only need a 2-bedroom because it's just me. Think about, what is my life going to look like in the next 5 to 7 years? And plan accordingly when you're looking at the size of the home, you're looking at the number of bedrooms, you're looking at the number of bathrooms. Maybe you're even considering purchasing a home and maybe renting out a room or something. People actually do that. So keep also that in mind, because if you do want to do that, I'm sure that you don't want to share a bathroom with that roommate. So think about things like that. Plan out for 5 to 7 years, and guess what? You won't be in this 12% statistic. All right. 8% of millennials said they bought a house in a bad neighborhood. Come on, are you serious? You have all kind of research tools on your phone and on your computer to look up information on neighborhoods, such as schools, places to eat, parks, things like that, right? But in addition to that, if you're going to purchase a home, please, for goodness sake, don't just show up there once or maybe twice. You need to go in the morning and in the afternoon and in the middle of the day. And you need to drive by on a weekend. And maybe there's people outside and you need to talk to them about the neighborhood. Maybe there's a park. Go hang out at the park. Talk to the people there. They might actually live in the neighborhood. Take responsibility for yourself and make sure that you don't buy in a bad neighborhood. Things do happen and things do change, and sometimes the neighborhood is really great and then things do happen and change, and then suddenly it's not so great of a neighborhood. That's not really anything that we can control, but what you can control is when you are purchasing that home, you can make sure to do your due diligence and make sure that you don't buy a home that's in a bad neighborhood. 7% of millennials said that they regret purchasing a home and think that it was actually not a good investment. There are so many ways to discuss this 7%, everybody. There's like so many ways. First of all, remember I said, don't be distracted by the shiny object, by like the glitter and sparkle of buying a home. You really need to look at this strategically. Don't overpay for a house. Make sure you're getting a good price. Of course, try to get the best price that you can. Buying a home can absolutely be an amazing investment. What did Graham say? He was a millionaire by 26 through real estate. So obviously there is something to that, okay? But that is not by accident. I can promise you. That is by making sure you're buying in a good neighborhood, that's now in a good neighborhood, that might be good for resale value. Considering the type of home that you're buying, is that type of home good for resale value? Like, are you looking at a single family or a condo or a townhome or a 2-unit, a 3-unit, a 4-unit, whatever that might be? Is that going to be good for resale value? The number of bathrooms you have, is that going to be good for resale value? The condition of the home, in addition to any hidden defects, which you can of course protect yourself by getting that home inspection that I've already mentioned to you. There's lots of great channels and lots of great information on Google that talks about investing in real estate and making it a good investment. And I'm going to be honest with you, there are many, many times that not only can real estate be a good investment, but it can actually be a great investment. Make sure you're taking the right steps that you end up with the great investment. Another 7% of millennials said they regret purchasing a home because the mortgage payment was too high. I have mixed feelings on this topic, but actually of the many topics that we're talking about today, or the subtopics we're talking about today, this is my favorite because of course I do mortgages. It is my thing. So when I am estimating for consumers on loans, I put in a ton of extra work, okay? And keep this in mind, most loan officers work on commission. So we are doing all of this work for sometimes weeks and months to hope that you close your loan with us. Otherwise, it's all been done for free. So what happens a lot is that estimates are provided, and they're very, very rough estimates because that's all that's required and it's acceptable. Well, some of the things that I find very, very important are educating my borrowers and working along with them so that when we put the estimates together, yes, maybe you call the bank down the street and they gave you an estimate in 2 hours and mine takes a day. Do you want to know why? Because I'm actually looking up the property taxes. I'm shopping interest rates for you, getting title company quotes, home insurance quotes, actually calculating property taxes, but then you can have a good monthly mortgage payment estimate. What can you do to not fall into this statistic? You can work with a lender that you feel very, very comfortable with. You can learn, and I'll give you a couple tips here, but you can also watch some of my other videos and actually learn what to ask lenders, such as when you're giving me this mortgage payment quote and I already have a specific house, because without a specific house, we are really just guessing. But with a specific house, are you getting with the tax assessor? Are you getting with the title company? Are you shopping the interest rates for me? Can you tell me who to call for home insurance? Or are you making sure to use that accurate number? You need to ask the lenders these questions to make sure, because even though there is so much compliance in place to make sure that you as a buyer don't have a surprise on the money you need to close or on your mortgage payment, guess what? The system's not perfect, and some of the things that are allowed in tolerances can really throw your numbers for a dramatic loop. And although Graham said you have plenty of opportunity to get out of a purchase, I'm sure you do. I can't speak to that. I'm not a realtor. But by the time you get to certain stages, you don't really have much outs. And so what you can do to protect yourself is all the things that I just said. Let's make sure that you don't fall into the second 7%, and let's make sure that you end up with a mortgage payment, not only that you expect, but of course that you are comfortable with. 6% of millennials said that they regret buying a home. Why? Are you curious to know? Well, if you are, I'm gonna take a quick moment to say, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You don't wanna miss out on the scoop. The 6% said that they did not get the best interest rate. How can you protect yourself from this? Well, guess what? I have some ideas. I do not believe that it makes sense for 15 different reasons to call a ton of lenders and ask for interest rates, because you're giving wrong information because you don't know better. What you want to do is maybe you want to call a couple lenders. Maybe you want to ask friends and family for recommendations. Call them, ask them the questions I talk about in some of my other videos. I'll drop some links below for you on that. And ask them those questions and see who you feel comfortable with. Who do you mesh with? This is like, if I'm your loan officer, you and I are going to be in therapy for the next 2, 3, 6 months, depending upon the situation. And we are going to talk about a lot of private stuff, uncomfortable stuff, and you're going to have to be really comfortable to be transparent with me to protect yourself. So don't just go with somebody that answers the phone the fastest. That's just one example. Make sure it's someone that you trust. This is a huge, huge purchase. You want to trust them. So you're going to get your referrals, and then you're going to narrow it down to kind of go by like feel and conversation, go with your gut. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you then can ask for a pre-approval. and you can ask for a rate quote. The other thing that you can do, I'll drop another link to my video about discount points for you as well below, is when you're getting those rate quotes, find out what you're paying for the rate, make sure that makes sense for you, and make sure that you're comparing apples to apples if you're comparing more than one lender. Just as one example, this morning, 30-year loan based on a multitude of different scenarios. And I'm not quoting you a rate here because I've given you this spiel before. I have so much compliance, I can't quote rates without all kind of stuff. But I'm telling you this morning that between 3 different clients, all for 30-year loans and all for purchases, I quoted them rates anywhere between 2.375 on a 30-year and 3.125 on a 30-year. Why? Because they each qualify for something different. They each might have had a different loan type. They each might have had a different loan amount. They each might have had a different credit score. And then the big other piece is some wanted quotes with points and some wanted quotes without. So don't get all excited and go, oh my gosh, 2.375, yay. Make sure it makes sense for you because it really might not make sense for you. The other thing you can do, and this is my favorite place to get a reference point for interest rates, FreddieMac.com weekly rate survey. Why do I like this? Because it's not loan officers like me or banks trying to get your business and entice you to call them. It is purely informational, purely factual, and purely averages. Follow these things and you will be set up for success to not be in the 6%, and you will get a rate that you feel comfortable with, and you will feel that you got the best rate. Finally, and last but not least, 5% said they bought a house that was too big. I am going to kind of default to when I was talking about buying a house that was too small earlier. You really just have to do your research. Make sure that you're looking ahead and not just at today. Make sure that you're looking at resale value. Make sure you're looking at this from an investment perspective so that you are making a good investment. And don't forget, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, right? It's not something I would want to do, but there are people, like I mentioned, who rent rooms out of their house to help offset some of the expenses if you've got a house that's way too big. Be responsible for yourself. Take responsibility. Don't blame other people for your actions. Make informed decisions. I know it's very hard, but take a step back out of the emotion, be the observer, and make sure that you're making a good informed decision for not only now, but also for the future, and to make a good investment. Take all the tips in this video today, and I promise you, you will not be in this staggering and horrible 63% of millennials who regret purchasing a home. I'm going to put a link in the description and give you a free download today, so be sure to check that out after you watch the video. Always love hearing from you, and some days, honestly, it totally makes my day when I'm reading the comments from all of you. Please drop me a comment if you enjoyed today's video, and also don't forget to let me know if there's other topics that you would like me to cover. I'd love to see a big thumbs up in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, why not? Go ahead and do it. What's it gonna hurt? Seriously though, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified. Please do share these videos and the channel with your friends and family to help me spread my mission of mortgage peace. And since you're here with me today and you're visiting anyway, stay a little longer. Check out some of these other videos. I'll drop some links up here.